Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So Manny Pacquiao's son is set to make his professional debut here this year. There's been an ongoing argument between my friends and I about Manny Pacquiao, and if Manny Pacquiao was just super athletic with no skill, or if he had minimal skill and he had extreme athleticism. And the argument is this. I think athleticism can get a boxer, or anyone in any sport, can get you very far, but it can only get you so far. And when I say very far, I mean it can get you to the championship level. It can get you to a Super Bowl level. It can get you into the professional ranks of any sport. But at some point, if all you have is athleticism, I mean, you're only going to go so far. But in particular, when we're talking about boxing, that's where it's just you, yourself, and they're depending on yourself. In these other sports, you have a team, so you can be really athletic, maybe not have the skill, but you have other people to kind of help you out. In boxing, you don't have anyone to help you out. No matter what you train on, what your coach teaches you, what your nutritionist tries to do for you diet-wise, once you get in that ring, it's just you and yourself against this bull that's coming at you. And with Manny Pacquiao, I was arguing that I felt that he had sound skills as well as athleticism, as well as an inner drive of wanting to win. And I just think it's hard when you go against someone who like that, who comes out of poverty, with that type of hunger they have. There's a reason why this guy's an 8-division champion. Athleticism is not going to get you to be a champion in 8 different divisions. Just having a drive to want to win in life because you're coming out of poverty isn't enough just to get you to 8 different weight divisions as a champion. And just having sound skill alone isn't just enough to get you, hell, a championship in 1 division. But when you take those things together and you have a boxer who embodies those qualities, it creates a beast. And that's what Manny Pacquiao was. Some people, in particular in this forum I was in, they felt that Manny Pacquiao, well, he lunges, he jumps in, he throws wide punches, and now that he's slowed down now, what they were saying is showing that he really wasn't nothing in the first place. Now don't get me wrong, these are guys who call themselves boxers, but in the words of Roger Mayweather, they didn't know shit about boxing. Because I don't see how anyone could say that about Manny Pacquiao. This guy was a specimen in the ring. He had skill. Now, when he came to Freddie Roach, admittedly, he was a little raw. He was a little raw. He had the fundamentals, but he was a little raw. He was left hand crazy. Roach worked with him on getting the right hook, on feints, his footwork, setting things up with the jab, going to the body, and really stepping around the opponent, not just trying to barrel through him with that powerful left hand. You see, if he would have just remained an athletic specimen, he would have never got beyond Marquez. He would have never got beyond Ricky Hatton. You see, it wouldn't have got beyond Miguel Cotto. Roach helped him by giving him the skill that he needed, in addition to that drive from his upbringing and also the athleticism that he was born with. He took all that, and that's what made him great. Now, prior to Freddie Roach, I wouldn't have any argument with that, with what they're saying. But post Freddie Roach, you can't sit there and say anything bad about Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is one of the greatest, and I doubt there'll ever be anyone else that will ascend to championship level in 8 different weight categories. That's crazy. So now we all know what Manny Pacquiao brought to the table and what he could still bring to the table if he chooses to. But his son, Emmanuel, he's not his dad. Okay, so let's just knock it off right now. I watched him in some sparring videos. What I think you're going to have here is like a Shane Mosley Jr. And I think Shane Mosley Jr. has more talent than Emmanuel. But he's gonna get in there. He's gonna make some money because he has a name. But these guys aren't Eubank Juniors. These guys aren't Connor Benz. Ricky Hatton has a son who I think is gonna fall into the same thing with Emmanuel and Shane Mosley Jr. But I think he's more on the level of Emmanuel. Shane Mosley Jr. has real talent and he can really fight. He just, I think the athleticism can only get you so far. He has some skill, but it's not the type of skill he would have had if he started as a kid like his father. So again, I think Emmanuel Pacquiao Jr. I think he's gonna peak real early. I mean, I don't think he's gonna go far at all because that he can't possibly fight like his dad. He got to be his own man. And I'm watching him. He just lacks a lot of fundamentals. So to come on the job and try to learn on the job, he's just not showing that he has the power, that he has the athleticism. Now you could take a heavyweight guy like Dillian White. This guy, he had a few amateur bouts, was still learning on the job. But Dillian White, as sloppy as he may look, he has something about him in those hands that is why he keeps winning. And Dillian White's not fighting pushovers. So you can say what you want. I think Dillian White looks sloppy. I think he looks like he's just big and cumbersome and falling all over the ring. But he has power. And when you have that, you can get pretty far. But you can only go so far. And that's why I think Dillian White has had the losses he's had, and is not going to beat Tyson Fury because it can only get you so far. The athleticism and the power, but he just doesn't have that skill. He does have some skill, yes, but it's not Tyson Fury's skill who's been fighting since. And Tyson Fury didn't start till he was in his teens, but he has just his IQ is crazy. So when you look at Emmanuel Pacquiao Jr., I'm not seeing it. And I know everybody, some of these guys have followed who are professional athletes, they want to follow in the footsteps, and I think you should try it. You miss every shot you don't take. Try it. I'm rooting for the young guy, but I'm just saying he's, without having that skill, as soon as he bubbles up, he's going to get his ass tore out the frame. Like Deontay Wilder, right? Let's look at Wilder. Wilder's an amazing specimen. But look at his brother, man. His brother's not Deontay. His brother's in the interviews going, yeah, man, same mama, same papa, same mama, same papa. Yeah, okay, but that don't mean you're going to be the same fighter as your brother. And he just keeps losing, man. And that's boxing. Got to be a winner, got to be a loser. I'm not bad talking. What I'm saying is not just anybody can come in here and do this. That's why only a concentric few get to the level where they make millions of dollars. Everybody else, most of them who turn professional boxers, retire broke. Because there's just no money there unless you really have something special about you and you're winning. And these guys they're just going to be a little lateral movement, very little money, and they're not going to bubble up. Now, these guys who have names like, even Wilder's brother, the last name, but I think his time is over. But Pacquiao Jr. has a big name. Mosley Jr. had a big name. Hatton Jr. has a big name. The Ben Juniors and the Eubank Juniors have huge names. But those guys can fight, man. But Pacquiao Jr., I'm just not sold on him. But when you look at a lot of fighters that have, they got, like David Lemieux was a fighter. Really athletic, really powerful, but he doesn't really have sound boxing skills. These are guys depending on the one-hitter quitter, man. And you just got to watch a guy like this guy, Pacquiao's son. I don't even think he's naturally left-handed either, but he fights in I believe it's southpaw stance like his pops. He's trying to emulate everything like his dad, but he ain't the next pride of the Philippines, I'll tell you that. Pacquiao's only one Pacquiao, and it is what it is. His son wants to box. He's supporting his son. He's trying to put his son with the right people around him, which is what a dad's supposed to do. But I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. They're gonna probably give him his first 5 or 7 fights against guys he's supposed to knock out, supposed to beat. But I'm just not seeing it, man. Muhammad Ali's grandson is another one who he's got some skill, but they're moving him very slowly. He's got the last name. He's gonna make some money, but he's gonna plateau because the last name, the little bit of athleticism. Yeah, he had a little amateur career, but that can only get you so far when you start to get there with the elite. And I just think when they bunch to these killers, man, and they're gonna find some of those killers who are just up and coming, who are gonna make these guys look crazy. They're gonna make them look very amateurish, and it can be very discouraging and disheartening for a young fighter, and it can be disheartening for a country who's kind of wants to believe that these kids are the future. They're not. It doesn't matter how much you try to will them to victory. It's when they're in that ring, it's them and the opponent, man. It doesn't matter. No one can fight for them. So as far as Manny Pacquiao Jr., we'll see what happens with him. But his debu's coming up. I think that's still a little too early. I think he needs another year or two of just fighting on the amateur circuit. But we'll see what happens. But great people, great family. Seems to be a great kid. He seems to be the only one who's taking an interest in boxing. And let's see what happens, man. I love the Philippines, especially that tocino chicken, tocino pork with white rice and fried egg in the morning. Tastes good, but I'm just don't really have a taste for seeing Manny Pacquiao Jr. get in the ring. I just don't think that he has what it takes, but we'll see. So athleticism, boxing skill, and that inner drive. When you have those three things, that can take you far in any sport, especially boxing. Pacquiao had it. His son may have athleticism. His son doesn't have the skill, and I don't think his son may have the inner drive because he wants to represent the last name, but he doesn't have all three of those qualities, and two of them, and one of them, like the inner drive, to me is weak. This guy isn't a kid who was fighting to get money to give his mom to buy rice. This isn't a kid who grew up with no food. You know what I mean? Selling ice cream and whatever he could sell out there in the streets in the Philippines and the slums. He's not that. His dad did what he was supposed to do and gave his son a better chance at life. And in that sense, he was very successful. The son is not built like that. But what's going to happen is, we see cycles. Maybe Pacquiao's son may not have it, but maybe his grandson will have it. Because things come in cycles. But I think it'll skip this generation, but the next generation, I think, may be that grandson who can go and take this a step further. Look at Jaron Ennis. His dad was a great fighter, but it just so happened he had several sons. But in Pacquiao's case, only one took an interest in boxing. But in his case, several of his sons took to boxing, but Jaron's the one that just took off. Zab Judah's dad was a kickboxer. Man, had a bunch of sons, like 8 or 9 sons. Yeah, several of them boxed, but only one went all the way. It was Zab Judah. So, it's not everybody can take it to that level. And I just don't think Pacquiao Jr. is. I'm not trying to bad talk it. That's just my opinion. That's facts, man. Not everybody can do it. And he just hasn't shown that he has that quality. And I just don't think he's going to do it. Well, leave your 2 cents below. I'm sure somebody out there will comment. And let me know what you think. Do you think he can do it or not? But right now, I'm just not seeing it. As always, shout out to all the veterans. You guys keep safe. And I am in the breeze.